all, ladies and gentlemen. I just said that kind of weird. Today is a topic. Since Hell in a Cell is the next pay-per-view, I thought maybe I'd do a top 5 Hell in a Cell matches that personally I thought I liked. You don't have to agree with me on these kind of things. These are just my opinion on my top 5 favorite Hell in a Cell matches. Now, you might not agree, you might agree, but, you know, it may shock you, it may surprise you, I don't know. How you take it is how you take it. I'm not going to be offended by it. Hope I don't offend any of you. That's not my intention. But, yeah, anyways, let's get started. Here's a couple fun facts for you about the Hell in a Cell. The longest Hell in a Cell match was actually 47 minutes and 26 seconds long. It was Triple H versus HBK, Shawn Michaels, of course, at Bad Blood, June 13, 2004. That was the longest Hell in a Cell matches out of any Hell in a Cell match. You would think that the longest Hell in a Cell match would probably involve like the Undertaker or something, since he's been in about 11 Hell in a Cell matches. I looked it up. He's been in 11 Hell in a Cell matches. That's more than anybody. You would think that he'd have the longest Hell in a Cell match. No, Shawn Michaels and Triple H did, which was, again, 47 minutes and 26 seconds long. The shortest Hell in a Cell match was Mick Foley versus Kane, Raw is War, August 24th, 1998. It was 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Ended up ending in no contest, but that was the shortest Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, so those are some fun facts about the Hell in a Cell. Alright. Number 5. The first ever Hell in a Cell match was the first ever Hell in a Cell match to have 6 people in it. I'm talking about Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker versus Triple H versus Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Rikishi versus The Rock for the WWE Championship at Armageddon, December 10th, 2000, and that match was 32 minutes and 26 seconds long. The reason I chose this as my number 5 was because it was such a well-layered match. Throughout 2000, when Kurt Angle won the WWE Championship, you saw him feud with each one of those people that was in that match. He feuded with Triple H for a little bit. He feuded with The Rock for a little bit, who he won the title from. He feuded with Rikishi, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you name it. So everyone in this match had a good feud leading up to everything, leading up to that match. And the moment from that match that will always stick out in my mind was, Mick Foley at the time was the commissioner. He put on that match, and Vince McMahon didn't want that match to go on, so he was going to rip the cell down. So he brought like this truck, and it was like filled in the back with like bark or something like that, something like kind of wood or something that was all chipped up and everything. So he ended up not being successful, and Undertaker and Rikishi ended up on the top of the cell, and the Undertaker choke slammed Rikishi onto the bed of that truck, and that is a moment that will always stick out in my mind. I watched that over and over again. I have the Greatest Hell in a Cell Matches DVD. I bought that like a couple years ago when it came out, or like I don't know how long it was ago, but I bought it, and I watched that moment over and over constantly, because it was like, holy crap. Like, anytime anyone is thrown off of the cell, you know it's going to be like a moment that's going to stick out in your mind forever. And that match, just everything leading up to that match, the feuds, everything was just so well done. And that's my number 5. And it was for the WWE Championship. Kurt Angle ended up winning the match. So that's my number 5, because of how well it was built up, and the actual match itself was a good match. Number 4, Triple H versus Chris Jericho at Judgment Day, May 19, 2002. This match went on for 24 minutes and 31 seconds. This match was really good. I thought it was a well-paced match. It was good leading up from WrestleMania to then. It was just a good match, a good feud anyways. You know, Triple H and Chris Jericho are going to put on a great feud. A great feud and a great match. So that's my number 4. I'm trying to rush here a little bit. Triple H came out the winner. So I'm trying to rush here a little bit, as you can't tell. Alright, so that's my number 4 match. That was a good match. Number 3, The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kane and Mankind, Raw is War, June 15th, 1998. This match went on for 10 minutes and 38 seconds. The reason this is my number 3 is because it was the first ever Hell in a Cell match to be on non-pay-per-view. It was a Good match. Ended in no contest. First ever tag team match inside the Hell in a Cell. First ever Hell in a Cell match on Raw, which was huge. And good feuds. Undertaker and Kane and Mankind and Stone Cold all had their feuds going on with each other. Stone Cold Steve Austin ended up having to fight both Kane and Mankind at the beginning. Paul Bearer locked himself inside the cell. Undertaker came up from underneath the ring and attacked Paul Bearer, but he locked himself inside the cage. So the cell door was locked from the inside, so Kane couldn't get in. He tried to climb the cell to try and rip through it, you know, all that kind of stuff. So ended up in no contest because the Raw show went off the air, and Stone Cold Steve Austin ended up climbing up the cell to go fight Kane. It was just a good match, a good way to like end a Raw. I mean, that's one of the better Raws that I've ever seen before in my life. It was a good Raw. Alright, my number 2 is the first ever Hell in a Cell match. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker at Bad Blood, October 5th, 1997. It went on for about 30 minutes. This was a great match. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, you can't get any better than that. They've had tremendous matches over the years. I mean, come on, the Hell in a Cell match. They're 2 WrestleMania matches. You can't get any better than Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. If you've seen the top 50 superstars of all time, they're the top 2 superstars of all time. Shawn Michaels being number 1, Undertaker being number 2. They're the top 2 superstars in professional wrestling right now. In professional wrestling in general. This was a good match. It doesn't have any, like, a lot of outstanding moments. I mean, it had that one moment where Shawn Michaels was on the side of the cell and he was kind of pushed off by The Undertaker, but it doesn't have any really moments. It was just the match in general made it good, and then the involvement of Kane and Shawn Michaels ended up winning the very first Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker. Just the match in general. Nothing had to happen. Nothing big had to happen in that match. You already had Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. Why add anything else? It would just make it too overwhelming. I mean, you had that moment where he was pushed off the cell and he landed it on the announce table and he broke it. And you had the moment where he was all bloodied and everything. He was smashed up against the cell. But you don't really need that when you already have 2 megastars in the match. So you don't really need that. I mean, the match in general made it the number 2 that it is, in my opinion. So that's my number 2. Just because of the match itself, it just made up for all the moments it didn't need, if you understand what I'm kind of saying. Alright, my number 1, I'll tell you what it isn't. It's not The Undertaker versus Mankind at King of the Ring. It's not. I'll tell you guys right now, it's not. It wasn't a match. It was just hardcore extreme. It was good, believe me. I loved it. Take it from me, I loved that match. It was a great match. I loved it. Undertaker ended up winning. Mankind was like almost dead. He almost died. For real, he almost died. And how can you not die? He just fell from the cell, top of the cell, into the Spanish announce table. Come on, he just fell through the ring. You already had your tooth pushed up to your nose. You're all bloodied. You already are put through tacks. I mean, how extreme can you get? How much more add fire? Holy cow, that's a lot of extreme stuff going on in that match. And besides the fact that you have the legend of hardcore, the hardcore maniac, Mankind, and you have The Undertaker, I mean, come on, really? But that's not my number 1. My number 1 is The Undertaker. It involves The Undertaker, though. Undertaker versus Edge at SummerSlam, August 17th, 2008. This match went on for 26 minutes and 43 seconds. The reason this is my number 1 is because it was such a great feud leading up to it. I mean, you look at this. Undertaker won the World Heavyweight Championship in 2007. In 2007. He won it in 2007. Alright? You following me here? 2007. But was feuding with Batista for a while. Edge, on the other hand, was on Raw. Got the Money in the Bank from Mr. Kennedy because he beat him in a match where if Mr. Kennedy lost, Edge would get the Money in the Bank. Or something like that. He got injured or something. He got the Money in the Bank, then went to SmackDown. After a cage match between The Undertaker and Batista. Cashed in the Money in the Bank, won the World Heavyweight Championship. they feuded, adding with Batista, but they feuded. All throughout that whole time, they were feuding forever. Forever. Leading up to their match at WrestleMania 24, which I believe was the best match on the card, unless you put it up against Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, but to me, that was the best match on the card. Edge and The Undertaker, best match on the card, WrestleMania 24. And then you have them feud at Extreme Rules. You had The Undertaker and Edge in a TLC match. If Undertaker lost, he would retire. Then he got rehired. Then they have a match at SummerSlam. The Hell in a Cell match, just the feud was building up so great. This feud was great. I believe best feud SmackDown could ever get. The best feud of that year, of 2007 transitioning over to 2008. That feud was huge. That feud was the one I was talking about. And that match was just great in general. You had Edge spearing The Undertaker through the cell. I mean, come on, you can't get any better than that. Undertaker ended up winning the match. They climbed the ladder at the end of the match. Undertaker chokeslammed Edge through the ring. Can't get any better than that. The feud was great. The match was even better. That is why this match is my number one, because just everything clicked. Everything went well together. Everything was built up properly. The feud, the match, the two guys in the match, the Rated R Superstar Edge, the Dead Man, the Phenom, the Undertaker. You can't get any better than that match. So anyways, guys, that's my number one. I'll put the list of matches down in the description box, and don't forget to subscribe up above. Don't forget to leave your comments on if you agree with me or you don't agree with me. Tell me who your top 5 Hell in a Cell matches are. Maybe they're similar to mine, or maybe they're totally different from mine. I like feedback, guys. I like feedback. Tell me what I should have done. Tell me if I have bad lighting. Tell me, because I have bad lighting all the time, and I don't notice it until I actually watch my own video back. But tell me who your top 5 Hell in a Cell matches are. Tell me if you agree with me or not. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. I don't really care. Again, subscribe up above, and I'm pretty sure that's it. Friday will be a SmackDown recap, hopefully, maybe. Until then, hope you guys have a good I'm on Lost on Days, Wednesday, and hopefully have a good rest of the week. The week is almost over, getting ready for the weekend, and yeah, I will talk to you guys later. See you guys on Friday. Peace out.